I know a lot of you are still waiting for Valve's next gaming machine. They first revealed it back in November, and it was supposed to launch in early 2026. But now, it's still a mystery. Delays, pricing, supply issues, whatever the reason is, nobody really knows when it's coming. But here's the interesting part. We already know what it looks like and what kind of performance it's aiming for. So that got me thinking, what if I try to build something similar with comparable performance, but for a much lower price? So today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's get started. All right. So what's the goal of this video? I want to build a compact gaming PC. Something like a Steam machine, but cheaper. And not just that. It also needs to be powerful, easy to upgrade, and fully customizable however I want. Because that's the biggest difference. With a Steam machine, you're paying for convenience. But with this build, I'm creating something that fits my exact needs. So instead of waiting around, I'm going to build it myself and see, can this thing actually replace a Steam machine or not? All right, let's break it down. Based on what Valve has revealed, a Steam machine is expected to come with an AMD Zen 4 CPU, 6 cores, 12 threads, boosting up to around 4.8 gigahertz. For graphics, it uses an integrated GPU, 28 compute units, with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and paired with that, 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. On paper, it sounds like a PC, but in reality, it's much closer to a console, because it's built around an APU, meaning the CPU and GPU are combined into a single AMD chip. But this isn't your typical integrated graphics. It's a design optimized specifically for gaming, similar to what you'd find in a PlayStation or Xbox, more compact, more power efficient, but also with certain limitations. And after considering a lot of options, I realized something. Building the cheapest system? That's easy, but building something that cheap, powerful, and stable? That's a completely different story, and that's why I chose this configuration. It's the most balanced option for the price, and gets pretty close to what a Steam machine is aiming for. But before we talk about the hardware, I want to start with the most important part of this build, the case. This is the Metalfish T40, a compact ITX case, small but still enough room for real desktop components. For just $28, this is the most compact case I could find. It's not as small as a Steam machine, but at this size, it's totally acceptable. And it even comes with a built-in handle, which makes it really convenient to carry around. It uses an SFX power supply, so everything here has to be optimized for a smaller form factor, and that's exactly the idea. Keep it compact without sacrificing too much performance. First, CPU. I'm going with the Ryzen 7 5700G. Not the best on AM4, but one of the most balanced options right now, and I got it for just $115. Next, GPU, RX 6600 from Sapphire Pulse. Compared to Steam Machine, both use AMD graphics, but this is a full dedicated GPU, no shared limits. And much stronger raw performance. You can find one used for around $140. RAM, 16 gigabytes, DDR4, dual channel. Steam Machine uses DDR5, but in gaming the difference isn't that big, especially with a dedicated GPU. This kit cost me $75. For the motherboard, I chose a B450 ITX from Jagin UA. Simple, compact, and good enough for this build. Price, $80. Storage, Samsung PM981A, 1TB NVMe, fast, reliable, and cheap. I got it for $99. Power supply, FSPMS 600, SFX 600 watts, fully modular, perfect for a small build. Cost me $80. For cooling, I'm just using the stock cooler for now. Since this is a sandwich layout, the GPU sits on the other side of the case. So instead of plugging it directly, we use a PCIe riser cable, about $15. All right. Everything is assembled, and here's the result. It's not as small as a Steam machine, but it's still compact. And in return, you get something a Steam machine doesn't offer: Full upgradability, CPU, GPU, RAM, storage, everything. Plus, with the handle on top, it's actually pretty easy to carry around. It's not perfect, but it's practical. And here's the interesting part, the price. This entire build cost me around $630. Meanwhile, based on leaks, a Steam machine could land somewhere between $700, even up to $1,000. So for less money, we're getting something not just comparable, but way more flexible. But none of that matters if the performance isn't there. And to test that, we don't just need hardware, we need the right software. Steam Machine runs Steam OS, optimized specifically for its hardware. But on a system like this, that's not always possible. So instead, we're going with Bazzite, a system designed to bring that same experience to a regular PC. To install Bazzite, just head over to the official website and download the version that matches your hardware. The setup process is pretty straightforward. You can check my previous videos or follow other guides on YouTube if you need more detail. All we need is a bootable USB. Plug it into the system and boot from it. And here we are, the Bazzite interface. Clean, simple, and easy to navigate. Just run the installer, follow the steps, and let the system install onto the drive. Once it's done, reboot. And there it is, basically Steam OS. I'll download a few of my favorite games and do a quick system check. Ryzen 7 5700G 16GB, RAM RX 6600 8GB. Everything's in place. Honestly, this feels just like a real Steam OS experience. Bazzite is essentially a Linux distro tuned to replicate Steam OS, but it doesn't stop there. With a quick switch, you also get a full desktop environment, work, entertainment, browsing, all in one system. And now, the games are ready. Time to see what this DIY Steam machine can actually do. For the best gaming experience, I can freely switch between mouse and keyboard or a controller depending on the game. This motherboard also comes with built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so wireless connectivity isn't an issue. But for now, I'll stick with a wired connection to get the lowest latency possible. And just like that, the system detects the controller instantly, no setup needed. Perfect. All tests are at 1080p Full HD. First up, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. Everything feels incredibly smooth. FPS sits around 800 to 900. Yeah, this game is way too easy for this setup. Now, CS2. At medium settings, FPS is around 90 to 100. Very solid experience. I switched to high settings, and surprisingly, FPS actually goes higher, staying above 100 FPS. Better visuals, more detailed effects, and still completely stable. Finally, Cyberpunk 2077. At low settings, we're getting around 100 FPS, super smooth. Switching to medium, visuals improve a bit. FPS drops slightly to around 90 to 100, but still very smooth. And at high settings, the GPU works harder, but the system remains stable. FPS sits around 80, and the experience is still great. After testing at 1080p Full HD, everything felt way too easy for this setup. Super smooth across the board. Clearly, this DIY Steam machine has serious performance. So, to really go head-to-head with Valve's Steam machine, I'm stepping things up to 4K. First, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. Still around 800 FPS. Yeah, no challenge at all. Smooth as butter. Now, CS2. 4K, medium settings. And surprisingly, it still handles it extremely well. FPS stays above 100, which means you could actually play competitive matches at 4K without issues. Finally, Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K, low settings. The experience is still decent, no major drops. FPS stays around 50 to 60, completely playable. So after everything, this DIY Steam machine, compact, powerful, and most importantly, it performs exactly how I hoped. Now, comparing it directly to Valve's Steam machine, Valve clearly has the advantage in optimization. Smaller size, lower power consumption, and everything is tuned to work perfectly out of the box, just like a real console. But in return, you lose flexibility, no real upgrade path, no swapping parts. With this build, yes, it's a bit bigger and it takes more effort to set up, but what you gain is something Steam Machine can offer. Freedom, upgrade anything, customize everything, turn it into whatever you want. At around $630, significantly cheaper than a Steam Machine, you're getting a system that's not just comparable, but in many cases even stronger in raw performance. Now, of course, it's not perfect. You trade off size, power efficiency, and sometimes deal with driver or software quirks. But if you're okay with that, this isn't just an alternative. It might actually be the better choice. So the question is, are you going to wait for a Steam Machine or build your own right now? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.